to the Koreans, the Buddha, the genie, all different names for the same individual who is to appear now at the end of the age, beginning of the new cycle. He is also called Maitreya, the future Buddha. In this book, Maitreya, the future Buddha, you can find the prophecy of his return in 2,500 years. This prophecy identifies the time when he is to appear. It states that he will appear in 2,500 years in a tripartite year in the first year of a cycle. He will descend to be reborn, and he will produce a city of silver by transformation. He will change a city which will serve as evidence of who he is. He must produce a city by transformation. The Buddha was born in 560 BC and died in 480 BC. He received enlightenment at the age of 35, which is 525 BC. This prophecy had to have been made between 525 BC and 480 BC. If you project 2,500 years into the future, it will come between 1975 and the year 2020. 30, 60, and 90 are tripartite years. 1930 and 1960 is gone. The only tripartite year left is 1990. The first year of a cycle is 1991. In 1991, the future Buddha is to appear. 1991. In Angkor in Southeast Asia, we find the city of the future Buddha, hidden from the outside world for thousands of years and discovered by the French in 1858. It was hidden in the jungle by fig trees. This is the city designated to confirm the future Buddha. This city was hidden because of the banyan tree, a tree that starts in the sky. Birds drop their seeds from the sky on the leaves of existing trees. The branches spread out horizontally and then rolls down, covering everything beneath it. The tree is worshipped throughout Asia. It's called the tree of God. It is the only tree that starts in the sky and comes down. Here you see it written that one tree covered 20,000 people. It is the most unusual tree on earth. It's the fig tree, the banyan tree, the tree that hid a 36-mile wide city in the jungle for thousands of years. This is the tree of God. Here it is explained that the tree spreads indefinitely and it is not known to die. It's the tree of immortality. It is the most famous tree in Asia, the banyan tree, the tree of God. This is an artist's depiction of the city of the future Buddha, a city of stone, a stone Bible of the religious teachings of the Africans of Asia. This is the entrance to the temple called Angkor Thom. An 8-mile perimeter covers the city. This picture shows you how the tree starts in the sky and the roots come down, covering that face which you see. Those are roots from the tree which started in the sky, covering the face on a tower. There are 50 towers in this city with faces of the future Buddha.
It look like locks.
This is a close-up on the future Buddha's face with the roots
look like hair locks.
which started
Love
in the
locks.
sky and came down to cover the fig tree. This is a picture of that particular city, a map showing you the 36-mile perimeter, and there's a 7-mile perimeter around this city of Angkor Thom. This is the city which we will focus on, the Bayonne, the central temple of Angkor Thom. This city is viewed as a Bible, a sermon in stone. As you can see, it was built by men to confirm and serve as evidence, irrefutable evidence, of the future Buddha. That the Africans of Asia who built this here, they knew and wrote the future before it happened. And that the future Buddha would use these stone images of himself, these 50 stone-faced towers, skyscrapers in the sky, stone monuments, a Bible on the wall to confirm his identity, hidden in the jungle for thousands of years. Even though the city was sacked of its riches when it was discovered by the French, it still bears testimony to the teachings of the black people, the Africans of Asia. These stone-faced monuments are depictions of the one to come. There are 50 towers, telling you that this one, the future Buddha, who you see here, would be in a tower. The 50 towers representing the 50 states of the United States before they were ever discovered. The lions on the outside also bear testimony, since there are no lions in Asia. The lions came from Africa. These are African lions. This map shows you all the animals of Asia. The lion is not an indigenous animal, the tiger is. The symbol of China, one of the major symbols. It's the symbol of the Asia Society for all the people of Asia, the lion, testimony to the influence of the Africans of Asia. This book on sculpture from Thailand and Cambodia.
Okay, you guys, check this out. The black man in China never left China, contrary to what you might believe. These ancient walls that's in China now that was under the banyan tree, just for your knowledge, they have banyan trees in Hawaii. Kona, Hawaii has a real big one on the Leahy Drive downtown. Right in the middle of downtown section, down there where the Leahy Drive goes around the loop, there's a really big banyan tree right there that fits the description of this one itself. Is not that big. Back to the point, in China, the black people that's responsible for building these statues are still there. They've been whitened up and given fake ID, just like some of the people here in America that's been whitened up and given fake self-ID. Same thing that the European male does. Everywhere he goes, he destroys the cultures, hides remnants of themselves like this monolithic statues and structures that's been there forever that you wouldn't know about right now if it wasn't for YouTube making it available where people can drop this type of information. The Europeans suppress this information about the great past of us melanated people to try to make us be locked in their lies that we've never contributed anything, never been anything. Not to mention the fact that when you see these structures built on this earth, it destroys their Bible and takes the credibility away from some Jewish guy named Hiram Abiff and Solomon building temples and being the master masons. No, because see, you cannot claim to be a master mason if you can't claim to be the builder of these structures that we're looking at right now. Okay, so it is what it is. The Bible, Jesus, all of that stuff is all bullshit lies. That's the reason why I could take you back to Asia 25,000 years ago and show you structures that prophesied the arrival of the European man conquering or murdering and stealing, kidnapping black people from the continent of Africa, bringing them here to America, forcing them to be slave labor. All this done by people who claim to be God's people and claim that it was done by ordainment of God. Lies, 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 lies. If there's Solomon and Abiff, it's all lies. Hiram, all them lies. If they're not the master builders that they lie and say they are, that means that they got that knowledge from somewhere else. Who is the people that's receiving the knowledge from the light? You already know, because you can see me all the time in my videos standing under the pyramids, standing under the stars. Everything synonymous with what they're talking about. Black Savior returning to the earth to educate people. All this stuff is all in your face. You can believe it. You don't have to. It's your ass. I mean, that's really the truth. Here we go, part 3.
And stone sculpture, stolen and put in private collections from this city of the future Buddha. These were inside the temples and taken out by the colonial powers and put in private collections for private exhibits. The Africans of Asia. Let me clarify the way of the gods in all cultures. Number one, they write the future before it happens in stone. Then they let the future happen. Then they send one back from the dead who explains it and reveals that which they wrote. This constitutes the execution of judgment. Now, this shows you that there are, in fact, 50 states in the United States, and there were 50 towers in this city. The future Buddha is to appear in a tower in the United States on the 7th terrace. There are 7 levels above his head. That's the esoteric teaching. On the walls of this is the story of the people whom this individual, the future Buddha, would appear among. Here we show the Europeans coming in to Africa. We see they have weapons on their shoulders. This is on the walls in this city. We see the African with his bow and arrow going to meet the European on the field of battle. We see the African with his elephants and his weapons of war going to meet the aggressor coming into his country. Here we see the two armies clashing on one single panel on the southern wall at the temple of the Baal in this city. The African army on the left, the European army on the right, and they clash in the center of this stone carving of the European invasion of Africa, as the Europeans load the African arms to the bottom of the ship and take off to America, onward to America. The middle passage where the Africans are thrown overboard, the entire history or book of Revelation or unveiling is shown in this city of the kidnapping of Africans from Africa. This city is a book of Revelation, an apocalypse in stone. It is discovered by the one they call Maruk Buddha, the future Buddha. He discovers and unveils the true meaning of this city. This is in the religious teachings of the people of Asia. He uses a city carved in stone. True book of Revelation, the apocalypse, the book of Revelation, which will be discovered and explained. And we will now take you to the true history of the United States of America and their slaves to identify the truth carved in stone thousands of years before it happens about these people, the Africans of America. This document, this is the true document of the slave trade from Great Britain or the British House of Commons. It consists of certified eyewitness reports of the satanic atrocities of slavery. The fact that it was a conspiracy is evident by the pattern of punishment and the systematic step-by-step method in which it was applied for over 400 years. It is an orgy in the infliction of pain. The infliction of pain on innocent people with eyewitness step-by-step reports on what they was supposed to do and what they intended to do to these people who they identified in their document as an injured humanity. They meant to injure these people, and this was their intent. They referred to them as injured humanity. Christians did this to the children of Africa. The science that was used on these innocent people were based on universal cosmic laws, as you see here. There are laws that are above all man-made laws. They're the laws of the gods. They're the laws of the universe, and they govern all humanity. The two laws which we will focus on right now is called the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, and the law of polarity, the relationships between opposites. Both of these laws pervade all things in the universe, and this was the focus of the slave trade. We all know about crack. If a woman takes crack, we now know that that same addiction will be born into her babies. Crack addiction in the mother is born into the child. This natural law, the law of rebirth, the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, was used on the slave in a corrupted method, in a corrupted manner. The primary objective was to induce the fear of God into the slave. Fear is associated with God. If you fear someone, that person in your subconscious is viewed as God. And fear is something that you always have the expectation of once it's induced in you. So the primary objective to get the desired results would be the creation of a race of